to do so.
They're willing to end up taking out of the public coffers here to hire third-party firms to go, in essence, be a private police force to go through and try to achieve those goals. And to me, that seems a bit over the top, rather draconian. And I don't think, certainly here in Carlsbad, any of our infection numbers are anywhere significant to the point of requiring such a drastic measure, just as a common sense analysis would indicate.
Some of the actions in the proposal would actually use our law enforcement to maybe elicit citations to businesses that are outside of the scope of what the governor deems is appropriate right now. And we believe that law enforcement has a job to do, but it's to catch bad guys. And these people are not bad guys. They're simply trying to feed their families, make an honest living, work, and contribute to the economy.
The City Council voted 3-1 in favor of compliance and enforcement regarding COVID-19 health orders. Mayor Matt Hall recused himself. A generous donation is helping Feeding San Diego partner with a local restaurant to help combat hunger. The Lemonade Foundation has purchased $30,000 worth of meals from a North Park restaurant. Those meals will be distributed to Feeding San Diego, the YMCA, and to people facing homelessness.
It gives the team a lot of things to do during the day. Also, they're super excited to help feed the people who are food insecure, and just really excited that we're being able to be part of that.
Partnering with restaurants helps to ensure that they can keep their staff while also helping the community. Powerful winds are expected to move around San Diego County today and tomorrow. The strong gusts are causing numerous problems, including downed trees and power lines throughout Ramona. In fact, traffic in Descanso was backed up for miles after a semi-truck flipped over near Hapatul Road. Firefighters removed the driver, and fortunately the truck was empty and no one was injured. Yesterday, the California Highway Patrol shut down Interstate 8 to high-profile vehicles because of the high winds. And San Diego Gas and Electric is warning residents about the strong winds. SDG&E says it's monitoring and preparing for an emergency response in the event that their power grid is compromised. For the next few days, the utility company is urging the public to remove any debris to help prevent any possible power outages. The utility adds that you should remove all dead trees or overhanging branches near structures, secure your patio furniture, and collect loose objects in yards to ensure they don't fly into power lines. All right, well, speaking of the weather, Mark Mathis joins us this morning. Are we going to see more of those high winds today, Mark?
Well, yeah, we are going to see, we're seeing them right now, and we'll continue to see them as we head through this afternoon. We're going to have some very strong wind gusts this afternoon, but also a little bit of rain, primarily in the East County. Now, that rainfall is not going to push as far west as we had originally thought, and the reason for that is that low yesterday that was really pumping in a great deal of that subtropical moisture has pushed a little bit further to the south. So 63 is the current temperature, 61 in El Cajon, 65 in San Diego, 65 in Carlsbad, 59 in Valley Center, 41 is the current temperature in Julian, and 44 in Descanso, 58 in Dowzura. So again, this area of low pressure is to the south of us. The counterclockwise flow around that low is going to really pump in some subtropical moisture. But as the low moves further to the south and to the east, that moisture will begin to follow it with that wraparound moisture. So here's what the day looks like. Remember yesterday, all the computer models had a great deal of rainfall pushing into parts of the coastal areas as well as the inland valleys. Today, we're looking at these models really indicating that the rainfall will stay just a little bit further to the east, therefore not really developing a great deal in the inland valleys or the coastal areas. We'll still see a little bit of rainfall, light precipitation at best as we head into Wednesday evening, just under 1/10 of an inch of rain, about 1/10 of an inch of rain in Alpine, Descanso, and Ramona, and Julian, and Mount Laguna, a little over 1/10 of an inch of rain. Everybody else just less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. So Friday, this is at noon, And Friday's a tranquil day. Friday's a good day. We're going to have a nice day. The cloud cover begins to build, and then we'll see some light precipitation begin to develop as we head into really Saturday mid-morning into the afternoon hours, and then colder weather behind that cold front and that area of low pressure that will continue to drop to the south. So rainfall totals Friday into Saturday will add to these totals as we head into Saturday afternoon, and we're looking at about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain in some parts of the coastal areas, and then we'll add to those totals as we head into Saturday evening. 0.42 in Ramona, 0.41 in Alpine, and about 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain in the coastal areas as well as the inland valleys. So it's significant rainfall as well. Winds this morning, we're looking at 11, 12, 16 mile per hour winds. The wind gust going to pick up a little bit, and this lasts right until sunset. After sunset, the winds really begin to die down, but the wind gust will stay gusty until sunset, and then we'll, of course, see the winds greatly diminish. Forecast shaping up like this: 73, 68, 62, 59 Saturday, 60 Sunday. The coast, inland areas go from 62 to 67, 54 Saturday, 57 Sunday. And then in the mountains, highs are going to be in the 40s, overnight lows in the 30s, and the deserts, highs are going to be in the 60s and the 70s. All right, that is a look at your weather. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in just a bit with more Good Morning San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. Our live location on Inauguration Day. Yeah, we're still talking about the impact of COVID on small businesses. This is a very well-known Italian restaurant here in La Mesa. Later this morning, County Supervisor Joel Anderson will be joined by the owners of this restaurant. Yep, we're talking about trying to get rid of this arbitrary restrictions on businesses and get some consistency here. And we'll talk about what happened last week as well as what's happening today. But first, say good morning to Casey.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we're going to be having some fun on this Wednesday morning at Veloce Motors, the Vault. It's a really cool warehouse full of so many different cars. Mark, how would it feel to pull up to work in one of these bad boys?
Hey, so nice. That's what Paul comes to work in every single day. The red one on Monday, the white one on Tuesday. We are going to have a nice day today. We're going to have some strong winds. We're going to have a little bit of rainfall in the East County, but a big storm on the way by this weekend. We'll talk about it all coming up on Good Morning San Diego.
This is Good Morning San Diego.
San Diego, I'm Lauren Finney.
I'm Paul Rudy. Today is Wednesday, January 20th, a historic day indeed, Lauren.
An Inauguration Day, and there we are looking at a live picture of the president taking his final ride on Air Force One.
Yes, he is headed for his residence at Mar-a-Lago Club in Palm Beach. When he gets off the plane, it'll be likely his final trip on Air Force One.
A historical day, absolutely. And about 9 o'clock, we will see the official handing off of the
transition of
presidency.
power.
There we go. Mark Mathis, it looks like they have good flying weather.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty nice in parts of Florida today. Altogether different here. We are going to have a little bit of a drizzle in the inland valleys as well as the coastal areas. A little bit of rainfall also, again, as I just mentioned, in the East County. Now, the rainfall that we were expecting yesterday to arrive today is going to be a little bit further south and a little bit further east. So we'll be talking about that. Also, a big storm on the way as we head into Saturday. So we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a bit.
Sounds good. All right.
Well, coming up in this hour of Good Morning San Diego, we're going to be talking with Thomas Spence, who penned an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal about how publishers are banding together and agreeing not to publish certain books, mostly written by conservative authors. Josh Hawley comes to mind. Over 250 publishers says, hey, we're not going to touch that book, and why that's dangerous for America. So we'll have that conversation in just a bit.
And of course, as it is a historic day, we'll be talking to our constitutional law expert, Dan Eaton, about this historic day, the inauguration, things that are historic news.
Yeah.
And get his thoughts.
You know, it really is amazing, Lauren, the transition of power and how smoothly we go from one regime to the next. Mm-hmm. We really are the envy of the world in that regard. And just like the little things, like how they get into the White House and they completely put it in the Biden taste, you know, within hours of the Trump family leaving, that White House's artwork has changed out. Furniture is moved.
There are teams working
Yes.
on this months in advance, and I mean that's the whole, thing about transition teams and why it's so awkward. And it is considered our most vulnerable time as a nation, if you will, because there's that change. But
we should mention that outgoing Vice President Pence was not at the Andrews speech. He will be attending.
Yeah.
He'll be attending the inauguration's transition. So,
nor was Kevin McCarthy, leader of the House, and Mitch McConnell, after some strong words yesterday, basically saying that the president lied to people about the election, and a lot of strong words. And now they plan to attend the inauguration, and they were not at the president's farewell speech at Andrews. So
can't be in two places at one time. This is what they'll say, but obviously.
No, I've heard many say the logistics of it were that they could have attended both.
I know.
But
I think
each side will spin it the way they want to spin it.
I get the reason. I'm sure the Bidens and a lot of people are a lot more comfortable that the outgoing president decided to skip it. But I do think it's good that members of his administration will be there handing off the power, because I think it's important.
Well, there
important
has
visual.
to be, I kind of feel like there's three fractions you're talking to at the moment, but it's, I think them showing a sign of a peaceful transition is good for the nation.
Yes. All right, well, let's get on with the day's news. Joe Biden will be sworn in as the 46th president of the United States in just a few hours.
The swearing-in ceremony is expected to take place at 9 a.m. our time. We will be carrying it live. The Supreme Court's Chief Justice, John Roberts, will administer the oath of office for the president-elect. He will take the oath and place his hand on a more than 100-year-old family Bible held by his wife, Jill Biden.
Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will become the first woman as well as the first Black and South Asian American vice president. She will be sworn in by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and the first Latina member of the Supreme Court will be handling that assignment. Harris will be sworn in on two Bibles, one that belonged to a close family friend and the other that belonged to Thurgood Marshall, the country's first Black Supreme Court justice.
And only about 1,000 socially distanced guests will be in attendance for today's ceremony. Most of Congress and the Supreme Court are expected to be in attendance, as well as some former presidents. That includes, as you see there, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton, along with the former First Ladies. Some big-name stars are headlining the swearing-in ceremony. Lady Gaga will sing the national anthem. She has a history of activism alongside the president-elect, and she campaigned for Joe Biden during the general election. There will also be a musical performance, we are told, by Jennifer Lopez.
Someone that is not attending the inauguration, as mentioned, is President Trump. He is the first president to skip his successor's inauguration since Andrew Johnson did it back in 1869. However, Vice President Mike Pence will be attending the inauguration. President Trump and First Lady Melania departed the White House for their final time earlier this morning. Marine One landed on Joint Base Andrews, where a military farewell took place. President Trump gave a farewell speech. Here's an excerpt from that speech.
I will always fight for you. I will be watching, I will be listening, and I will tell you that the future of this country has never been better. I wish the new administration great luck and great success. I think they'll have great success. They have the foundation to do something really spectacular. And again, we put it in a position like it's never been before, despite the worst plague to hit since, I guess you'd say 1917, over 100 years ago. And despite that, the things that we've done have been just incredible, and I couldn't have done it without you. So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form.
So as we've mentioned, President Trump is heading to his resort in Mar-a-Lago.
Lots of extra security precautions are in place for today's event.
Over 25,000 National Guard members have been called up to keep the event secure. Extra security fencing has been placed near the Capitol and the White House. Numerous streets have also been shut down. For the first time, the National Mall, which is usually a place for onlookers to gather, has been closed down. We should mention that it was expected to not have a lot of the public there because of the pandemic.
12 Army National Guard members have been removed from inauguration duty, 2 of them for inappropriate comments or texts. Pentagon officials say one was removed after fellow troops brought the members' comments to the attention of Guard officers, and the other was pulled out after anonymous tips. The other 10 members were removed because of questions raised in a security vetting conducted by the FBI to ensure that none of the troops have ties to extremist groups.
It's a lot of looking back at anything that could potentially flag in a criminal history check, anything that could come up in a civilian database that's being scrubbed by our partners. We're just not, like I said, we're not taking any chances. Anything flags, there's any reason that somebody's name is brought to the attention of the command, they're being removed from the line. We'll ask questions later.
Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller said there is no intelligence indicating an inside threat to the inauguration.
After the swearing-in ceremony is complete, Biden and Harris will take part in a pass-in review with members of the military on the east front of the Capitol. Pass-in reviews are a military tradition that honor the peaceful transfer of power to a new commander-in-chief, and every branch of the military will be represented.
After the review, they will honor the military by going to Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. They will lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The Obamas, the Bushes, and Clintons will attend that wreath-laying ceremony, as well as after the wreath ceremony, they will head to the White House for the first time as President and First Lady, Vice President, and Second Gentleman.
Before the big day today, President-elect Joe Biden took some time to reflect on his life, family, and the COVID-19 victims with a memorial in Washington, D.C. last night.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
The evening opened with President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris leading a lighting ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. 400 lights were illuminated to represent the 400,000 lives lost to the coronavirus. That was followed by a moment of silence and 400 bells tolled at the National Cathedral to symbolically honor those who have died.
To heal, we must remember. It's hard sometimes to remember, but that's how we heal. It's important to do that as a nation. That's why we're here today. Between sundown and dusk,